listening or watching Radio Afinju. The time is 6 p.m.
Ẹ bá mi pè o. Àfínjú. Kí lorúkọ rẹ̀? Àfínjú. Rédíò. Àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ Àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń wo Àfínjú. Lórí WhatsApp. Àfínjú. Instagram. Àfínjú. Facebook. Àfínjú. Lórí X. Àfínjú. Lórí YouTube. Àfínjú. Lórí TikTok. Àfínjú. Kí lorúkọ rẹ̀? Àfínjú. Ẹ bá mi pè o. Àfínjú. Rédíò. Àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ Àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń wo Àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ Àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń wo Àfínjú. Rédíò Àfínjú. Rédíò Àfínjú. Rédíò Àfínjú.
Stay informed with news on Radio Afinju.
This is the world news on Radio Afinju.
First, a look at the highlights. Tinubu congratulates by-election winners, commends INEC's efforts. Serap gives National Assembly ultimatum to probe bribery allegations. European leaders to meet Zelensky for Washington talks as Trump pushes for Ukraine peace deal. Good evening and welcome to the World News on Radio Afinju. My name is Pearl Durotoye. The news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated the new APC National Chairman, Nentanwe Yilwatda, for the emphatic first victory recorded under his leadership, as well as all the winners of Saturday, August 16th by-elections in 16 constituencies across 12 states. The presidential spokesman, Bayo Ononuga, in a statement stated that the president also commended the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for the hitch-free elections, mostly devoid of violence. Following the results declared by INEC, the All Progressives Congress, APC, won in 12 constituencies. The All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, won in 2. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, won in 1. And the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, won in 1. Tinubu also congratulated the APC governors and other leaders on the success of the by-elections. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission's returning officer, Lawal Saadu of the Federal University, Gusau, announced the Kara Namoda South constituency by-election in Zamfara has been declared inconclusive. According to him, the margin between the leading party and the runner-up was less than the total number of permanent voters' cards collected in polling units where the election was cancelled. Former military president Ibrahim Babangida has been commended for his stewardship of the country, especially his military administration, which will be remembered for its massive investment in infrastructure such as the Third Mainland Bridge and the reforms that liberalized the Nigerian economy. President Bola Tinubu made the remark while felicitating with the former military leader on his 81st birthday today. Tinubu and associates of the former military leader, whose 8 years of rule greatly impacted Nigeria's socio-economic and political development. According to the statement, the president celebrates General Babangida's distinguished military career, which includes serving as an instructor of the Nigerian Defense Academy, commander of the 4 Reconnaissance Regiment, commander of the Nigerian Army Armored Corps, Director of Army Staff Duties and Plans, and Chief of Army Staff. The former military leader established the State Security Service, National Intelligence Agency, Defense Intelligence Agency, and the Federal Road Safety Corps, among others. President Tinubu also highlighted Babangida's role in creating states and relocating the federal capital from Lagos to Abuja. While thanking him for his sacrifice and leadership, the president prayed to Almighty Allah to grant the former military leader more years and renewed strength. The chairman of the Northern States Governors Forum, the governor of Gombe State, Zuru in Kebbi State, Muhammadu Sami, who died at the age of 81. In a condolence message on behalf of the Northern governors, Governor Inuwa Yahaya described the late emir as the highly respected monarch, patriotic leader, and elder statesman who dedicated his life to the service of Nigeria, both in illustrious military career, particularly his impactful tenure as the military administrator of the Old Bauchi state, where he played a significant role in driving development across the state. Inuwa Yahaya noted the late Emir Sami's commitment to the progress of his domain and his invaluable support to the Northern States Governors Forum through the Northern Traditional Rulers Council, where he remained a respected and stabilizing voice. The NSGF chairman extended heartfelt condolences to members of the royal family, the Zuru Emirates Council, as well as the government and people of Kebbi State over this monumental loss. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has urged anti-corruption agencies to investigate allegations that lawmakers pay bribes of up to 3 million naira to present bills, motions and petitions in the National Assembly. This call comes after a House of Representatives member, Ibrahim Auro, alleged that federal lawmakers pay between 1 million naira and 3 million naira for such purposes. In a letter signed by SERAP's Deputy Director, Kolawole Oluwadare, the group demands that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, identify lawmakers involved in the alleged bribery. SERAP also calls on Senate President Godswill Akpabio and House of Representatives Speaker Tajuddin Abbas to refer the allegations to anti-graft agencies for investigation. According to SERAP, the alleged bribery makes a mockery of lawmaking and the legislative powers under the Nigerian Constitution. The group has therefore given the National Assembly leadership a 7-day ultimatum to act, warning that failure to comply may lead to legal action and ensure transparency in the legislative process. The group's action underscores the need for accountability and good governance in Nigeria's National Assembly. The Abat Hiba Chieftaincy House of Aramoko Ekiti has condemned the move to install a female regent for the vacant stool of Alara of Aramoko Kingdom in Ekiti State, following the recent demise of the immediate past Alara Oba Olu Adeyemi. It stated that the Abatiba chieftaincy family had from time immemorial produced the regent for the Alara pending the installation of a substantive king as opposed to the move to install the daughter of the monarch. The Abatiba chieftaincy family, in a statement signed by Busuyi Ogunlana and made available in Ado-Ekiti, the family stated that the decision to make the daughter of the late Alara Deyemi regent of the ancient town is capable of setting Aramoko on fire. The family called on the Oni of Ife, Obadeyo Ogunsi, and the Ekiti State Governor Biodun Oyebanji to intervene and call those who are hell-bent on setting the town on fire to order. An officer identified as Ojo Oloruntobi and 3 civilians have been arrested for alleged involvement in acts of extortion, brutality, and robbery against citizens in Benin City. The public relations officer of the Edo State Police Command, Moses Yamu, disclosed this in a statement made available to newsmen. Yamu, who gave the names of the arrested civilian suspects as Charles Ona, Joseph Ohis, and Enoma Ago, alleged that the civilians have been collaborating with the police inspector serving in the command to terrorize residents of the city through acts of extortion and harassment. The arrest of the suspects followed a viral video in which a victim alleged that he was abducted by policemen and subjected to intimidation, his phone and belongings forcefully taken. The spokesperson of the command explained that acting on the complaint and other related reports, the Commissioner of Police, Edo State Command, Monday Agbonika, directed that the perpetrators be identified and arrested without delay. Now on the foreign scene, at least 10 people have died in a flash flood in northern China, with 2 others still missing as the East Asian monsoon continues to unleash atmospheric chaos across the world's second-largest economy. Reports said the banks of a river running through the grasslands of Inner Mongolia burst on Saturday, washing away 13 people camping on the outskirts of the city of Bayaner, a major agricultural hub. Sources said a search and rescue operation involving more than 700 people is underway, although 1 person has been rescued. China has suffered weeks of extreme weather since July, battered by heavier than usual downpours, with the monsoon stalling over its north and south. Bayaner is an important national grain and oil production base, as well as a sheep breeding and processing center. In Europe, ahead of the Washington talks on Monday, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, French President Emmanuel Macron, and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer had a meeting of allies today to show off Zelensky's position, hoping in particular to lock down robust security guarantees for Ukraine that would include a U.S. role. President Trump is leaning on Ukraine to strike an agreement after meeting Vladimir Putin on Friday in Alaska. According to sources, the U.S. and Russian leaders discussed proposals for Russia to relinquish tiny pockets of occupied Ukraine in exchange for Ukraine ceding a swath of fortified land in the east and freezing the front lines elsewhere. At face value, some of Putin's demands would be hugely difficult for Ukraine to accept, setting the stage for potentially fraught talks about ending Europe's deadliest war in 80 years, which has killed or wounded more than 1 million people. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen will also travel to Washington, as will Finland's President Alexander Stubb, whose access to Trump included rounds of golf in Florida earlier this year. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, who is an admirer of many of Trump's policies, will also go to Washington. In the Americas, Erin, the first hurricane of the 2025 Atlantic season, has been downgraded to Category 3 as the storm's wind speed eased slightly. The United States National Hurricane Center said early The hurricane was about 330 miles east-southeast of Grand Turk Island, packing maximum sustained winds of 125 meters per hour. It had been gauged as high as a catastrophic Category 5 with maximum sustained winds of 240 kilometers per hour, then downgraded to a Category 4. It had earlier been forecast to strengthen into this week. The NHC said the meteorological services of France and the Netherlands discontinued tropical storm watches for Saint Martin, Saint Barthélemy, and Saint Martin. It was also reported that Erin was moving west-northwest at nearly 14 meters per hour, with a decrease in forward speed expected today and a turn to the north on Monday and Tuesday. Erin was forecast to pass to the east of the Turks and Caicos Islands and the southeastern Bahamas on Sunday night and Monday. In the Middle East, thousands of Israelis took part in a nationwide strike in support of families of hostages held in Gaza, calling on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to reach an agreement with Hamas to end the war and release the remaining captives. Demonstrators waved Israeli flags and carried photos of hostages as whistles, horns and drums echoed at rallies across the country, while some protesters blocked streets and highways, including the main route between Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. The Prime Minister, who leads the country's most right-wing government in history, said his government was determined to implement a decision for the military to seize Gaza City, one of the last major areas of the enclave it does not already control. That decision is widely unpopular among Israelis and many of the hostages' families, who fear an expanded military campaign in Gaza could risk the lives of their loved ones still held captive. There are 50 hostages held by militants in Gaza, of which Israeli officials believe around 20 are still alive. Now talking sports. Following her contributions to Nigeria's successful outing at the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, the National Women's Soccer League (NWSL) Club Bay FC celebrated Asisat Oshoala. Oshoala was honored at the PayPal Park ahead of Bay FC's clash with San Diego Wave. The 30-year-old scored once in 5 appearances for Nigeria at the WAFCON 2024 finals. The forwards' only goal came in the Super Falcons' first game against Tunisia, which they won 3-0. Oshoala has won the WAFCON title 4 times with the Super Falcons. She has also scored 37 goals in 61 appearances for Nigeria. In the world of tennis, world number 1 Jannik Sinner and hot rival Carlos Alcaraz will face off in a major final for the 4th time this season after both booked straight-set wins into the title match at the ATP WTA Cincinnati Open on Saturday. Defending champion Sinner ruthlessly subdued the 136th ranked qualifier Terence Atman 7-6, 6-2, while Spanish second seed Alcaraz defeated an ailing Alexander Zverev, who was suffering badly from the 32 Celsius heat and humidity, by 6-4, 6-3. Alcaraz and Sinner have played for trophies this season in Rome, Roland Garros and Wimbledon, with the Italian winning their most recent at the All England Club last month. Sinner, celebrating his 21st birthday, ended Frenchman Atman's dream run and will now try to become the first man since Roger Federer in 2014-2015 to win back-to-back titles in Cincinnati. Sinner, turning up for the US Open in his first tournament since winning Wimbledon, has not dropped a set en route to the final. Alcaraz will also be playing in his second Cincy final after losing to Novak Djokovic in 2023. Before we go, here again are the highlights. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated the new APC national chairman, Nentawe Yowatda, for the emphatic first victory recorded under his leadership, as well as all the winners of Saturday, August 16th by-elections in 16 constituencies across 12 states. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has urged anti-corruption agencies to investigate allegations that lawmakers pay bribes of up to 3 million naira to present bills, motions and petitions in the National Assembly.